Alright, I just woke up, so I'm looking kind of busted right now, but the gameplay trailer for Buuhan and Dabura just came out, and I gotta say, they're looking kind of good, bruh. So after a long wait, we finally got our very first look at both Buuhan and Dabura in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So what I'm going to be doing is breaking down this trailer and just giving you guys my overall thoughts about the characters. The very first thing I want to note before I get into character specifics is that they both have their own unique fighting styles. More so on Buuhan actually, because with Dabura being a brand new character, of course he's going to have no choice but to have a new fighting style. However, with Buuhan, both Super Buu and Gohan are obviously in the game, and I would have thought that they would have at least given him one of their fighting styles, either the stretchy long-range fighting style of Super Buu or the kind of close-quartered combat fighting style of Gohan. However, they found a way to mesh it together and give him a solid mid-range fighting style, because you can see that his light combo string is more so similar to Gohan in the sense that, it's more close quarters combat, combo centric. And then we get a glimpse of his heavy combo where he actually stretches out his arms to deal the damage from a decent mid-range. So I'm actually pretty glad that they gave them unique movesets. Again, it was expected on Dabura, but on Buuhan, I'm glad that they just didn't make him a copy and paste of either Super Buu or Gohan. With that out of the way, it's time to talk about the very first character, which is gonna be Buuhan. Now, in this trailer, we actually got a lot more showing off Buuhan than we did about Dabura. So I have a lot more to say about Buuhan in this case, but either way, the very first thing that I noticed is that Super Ghost Buu attack is actually a super attack, and not only that, but it's a 5-man finish as compared to the super attack version of Super Ghost Kamikaze attack. Compared to the ultimate attack version of Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, Super Ghost Buu attack is faster in both startup and in execution, because in the trailer you'll notice that it takes practically no time at all to line up the ghosts, and of course they fire in rapid succession. And then comparing that to the ultimate type version of Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, there is a bit of buildup when you're summoning the ghosts, and even though you're able to fire them off immediately, they go in a 1-by-1 factor with spaces in between. So I see Super Ghost Buu attack being slightly more viable. However, the downside is it's going to be weaker than the ultimate attack version of Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, naturally, because it's a super attack. However, I think that sacrificing a bit of power for speed isn't necessarily a bad thing. Not only that, but when the DLC releases, we'd also have to see how much ki Super Ghost Buu attack uses. So I guess it's just the fact of having to wait to get our hands on the DLC first before we can make that assumption. One trademark move that they gave to Buuhan is Candy Beam. Now in Xenoverse 2, Candy Beam is used as an evasive skill. And of course when you're hit, you turn into candy and you can't attack and defend. The only thing that you can do is pretty much just run away until you turn back to normal. And in this case, they actually gave it to Buuhan as a super attack. So with it being a super attack, I don't know if it's going to deal damage or not, or if it's going to function the same as the evasive skill. But if it does function the same as the evasive skill, then that does bring up the question, why have it as a super attack when it could be an evasive skill? Now, I'm not necessarily sure how they're going to differentiate the super attack from the evasive skill. Maybe when you use a super attack, it deals damage, or you stay as candy for a bit longer, or whatever they may decide to implement. But again, if it's the exact same as the evasive skill, why not just make it the evasive skill instead? Maybe there is a subtle difference that I might be missing. I don't know, but if you guys notice something different, let me know in the comment section below. He has Kamehameha as a super attack, guys. That's cool, right? And of course, his ultimate attack is none other than Super Kamehameha. And of course, it functions like all the other characters in the game that can also use Super Kamehameha, so it's nothing too special. However, one thing that I did want to talk about real quick is, if Super Kamehameha is his only ultimate attack, I find that slightly underwhelming, because I really think that Super Ghost Buu attack should be an ultimate attack, but it seems to be just a super attack instead. Maybe they can do what they did with Gotenks and give him an ultimate attack version of Super Ghost Buu attack, where it may take a bit longer to start up, but it deals more damage if you get to attack the opponent. I think that would be pretty cool. But for right now, the only ultimate attack we see him with is Super Kamehameha. kind of underwhelming, but if it functions just like all the other characters that can use it, it's going to be a solid attack nonetheless. And now we move on to Dabura. And remember that in this trailer, there was a lot more on Buuhan than there was on Dabura. But either way, the very first thing that we see is, honestly, I don't know if this is either a grab or a super attack, but from what I remember, it seems to be the ending portion of his ultimate attack, which is Darkness Sword attack. But however, it's clearly not an ultimate attack. It's not as cinematic as an ultimate attack normally would be. And even at that, it still seems more so of a grab than a super attack. So for right now, I don't even know what to classify it as. But either way, that move is in the game. Now, seeing that that is the ending portion of his ultimate attack, but it's clearly not an ultimate attack in this game, that actually brings up the question, what is his ultimate attack going to be? Because in this trailer, we don't see his ultimate attack at all. Now, we've seen a screenshot of it, but we don't know the full extent of his ultimate attack. We only know one portion of it. So I guess, once again, when the DLC releases, we'll finally get our answer. Another super attack we see Dabura use is his Evil Flame attack, where he spits out this ominous dark fire towards the opponent. But the one thing I picked up on is when the move connects on the opponent ends up getting burned. Now, one thing that should happen from this is, if the opponent is burned, obviously it should count as a status effect, where they would take consecutive damage from being burnt until eventually the fire burns out. But it's not as if this isn't the first time that status effects have been in Xenoverse 2. For example, Frost has Secret Poison, and if he connects the attack, then the opponent will stay poisoned for the duration of the battle until they have, if I'm not mistaken, 1% health left, or around low health, and then the poison doesn't take any more effect. So I think that'd be a cool inclusion for the move. If it doesn't have a status effect, I see it being a wasted opportunity, but if it does, I think that's a fantastic inclusion for his Evil Flame attack. And the last super attack we see Dabura use is his Petrification Spit, or Mystic Breath as it was called in some games. But we all know how this functions. He spits towards the opponent, and if they get caught, they end up getting turned into stone. So this is obviously going to be that type of move that can, I guess, get you out of certain situations where you might need to back away from the opponent. But the one thing I am also trying to figure out is, how long does this effect last? Does it last for like maybe a second or two, or does it last until you attack the opponent? Who knows? Once again, I guess we'll find out once we actually get our hands on the DLC. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, we do not get to see Dabura's ultimate attack in this trailer, which I find as a majorly missed opportunity because you're showcasing the characters, so I would expect you to showcase all the moves as well, much like what they did for Buuhan, but they only did it for Buuhan. But still, I guess we'll have to see it in action another time. But another thing I noticed is that he doesn't have all the moves, or at least they didn't showcase all the moves. He might have it, but from what we see in this trailer, one move I noticed that he did not have is Evil Impulse, which is pretty much his projectile-based attack. So I don't know, he might have it in the game, but I really hope that they do include it because it was in the Budokai games previously. So it would be kind of weird for him to not have an attack that he had in the older games. Not only that, but we didn't even get to see any evasive skills from both Buuhan and Dabura, so I don't even know what to expect from any of them. But once again, once we get our hands on the game, we'll finally be able to find out, although I really do think that they should have shown us in the trailer. Another thing I want to talk about is, I guess, their fighting styles. Now, once again, I did say earlier in this video that their fighting styles are both unique to their own, which I can heavily respect. However, I've noticed that their combos kind of throw them all over the place, if you will. Like, they'll have a combo where they knock the opponent away and they, you know, kind of float towards them and attack, or they'll teleport somewhere else and attack. And I know, like, a lot of characters in Xenoverse 2 have combos like this, but if it's anything like how it's been for KAUBA or Champa or any other characters who have attacks like that, they don't always connect online. And I hope that's not the case this time, because with brand new characters, I'm hoping that they're going to refine it so that it does work online. Heck, it's actually been an issue with Goku too, with one of his combo strings where he would knock the opponent into the air and he's supposed to teleport into the air and knock them down, but he doesn't teleport to their location. So I'm just hoping that that doesn't become a problem with Dabura and Buuhan. I hope that when we use them online, their combos work properly online. But that's everything I had to talk about concerning this DLC pack. All in all, they seem to be some solid characters, bruh. And I know a lot of people are kind of asleep now because it is true Xenoverse 2 is dying off, everybody's getting ready for fighters, and that's fine. But for what it's worth, the fact that we're getting new characters outside of the season pass is still a good thing in my eyes. We're still getting content that we were promised to get for the entirety of the year. Remember, the year of Xenoverse 2 content is almost over. Come November, that's it. So I'm glad that they at least stuck through with their promise. But anyways, that's all I've got. Let me know what you guys think about the DLC in the comment section below. But anyways, I'm Ndukauba. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.